them off, Glenn, okay?
I'm going to try and read them. You're on a really small screen.
Okay. I'll do the first one then. First off, we got Duncan McFarland from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The PlayStation 4. Pinball Arcade, I know one of Glenn's favorites. Attack from Mars points, 146,845,480,940 points. Congratulations, Duncan. That seems like an excessive amount of points for any game. I mean,
that's like 116 nibblers.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I'm like, Nibbler, was trying to be the first game to ever get a billion points. This one beat it by 146 times. So, congratulations, Duncan. Tell me if you can read this one, Glenn.
Is that Tim or Tom? Tim. I can't read it. Can you read it, Don?
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's super small for me.
You might have to get him tonight there, buddy.
No, that's cool. We got Tim Hansen from the Nintendo Entertainment System. Narc, points 3,399,850. Congratulations, Tim.
Oh, yeah, great score.
Nice. That's a great... I don't know. Some people don't like that port. I like that port. It's good. Great game.
Next up, we got Brendan Mears from Sweetwater, Texas. Sega Dreamcast, very underrated system. Mortal Kombat Gold arcade mode. Master 2, 6 minutes and 54 seconds, which seems really fast. But congratulations, Brendan.
I wouldn't call Sega Dreamcast an underrated system, sir. Even I like the Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do.
In the gamer community, I guess because it was considered a failure overall.
Right, but commercially, sure.
Yeah, commercially, I mean, but I thought it was, I don't know. I was very pleased when that one came out. I think it was so ahead of its time.
It's one of the few systems, and I think this is largely due because it had a short lifespan, where it has an equal or a little bit more amount of good games than it does bad games.
No,
right.
I completely agree with you. And maybe it just wasn't around long enough to get enough bad games. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. The Sega Saturn. Developers got burnt out on Sega because the Sega came out with the 32X. And then everyone's like, well, I'm not going to develop for that because the Saturn's just around the corner. And then the Saturn didn't do that great. And then I think people were a little shy. And then, of course, Sega CD, and then, it was just, and then the Dreamcast is right before the PS2, I think, right?
It was the year before, yeah.
So it was like a Midland generation, like the TurboGrafx 16 was.
Like Sammy said in the chat, it didn't have DVD and it killed it because PS2 came out like a year later.
1 year.
Yep, that's a very good point.
Which made Dreamcast games easy to copy.
Pirate also. So, that's right.
Yeah, pirate is so prevalent with Dreamcast games. But, that was always Sega's problem, is they always tried to be ahead of their time, and it eventually killed them.
Mooner told me this story over the weekend. He knew that the moment he dated his wife for the first time, he was going to marry her because when they went down to her room, there was a Sega Dreamcast and a stack of burnt games. And he said, that's the woman I'm going to marry.
That's the one.
Everyone always gets a sign. That's a first. We got Paul Cassatt.
That's how I knew.
What's that?
My wife robbed a bank. That's how I knew. I was like, she's the one.
Also,
she had a gun in my head, so.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, Mooner even says true story. He's told me that multiple times. I was like, yeah, that's definitely a keeper right there. All right, next world record.
We got Paul Cassatt, Nintendo Wii, Excite Truck, Diamond Cup, Nebula Crystal Road, normal mode. 3 minutes, 39.2 seconds. Congratulations, Paul. And I love your picture. That's it looks like Skeletor and He-Man. That's very cool. I think that might actually be more impressive that you have those action figures than the actual high score. But still very, very, very good high score, Paul. And last but not least, Pete Hahn from Chicagoland, USA, who I finally got to meet in person last week. Very cool guy. We actually interviewed him on our show last week, the Saturday show that was live from MGC. Arcade, Captain America and the Avengers. I believe we talked about that with him. Yes. Points, 840,602, which the game was actually at Galloping Ghost Arcade that was at the MGC. And very cool game. Very cool guy. Great score. Congratulations, Pete.
What I love about that run is that in that game, you're obviously the Avengers. He chose to play Iron Man. He was playing Iron Man. And in the game, there's like, you can pick up things. Just like any of the fighting games, you can pick up items and throw it. So like Iron Man is picking up rocks and throwing them at the bad guy. I'm like, you're Iron Man. Your entire body's a weapon. Why are you throwing rocks at people?
It's like you can shoot lasers out of your hands.
Exactly. This
is the realm of video game.
Yeah, there's an alien with lasers for everything. I'm going to throw rocks at it, right? What?
I'm going to pick up this hard bench and launch it at this guy.
Tony Stark throwing rocks.
But that's a perfect segue into our next topic and our only topic for the night.
Yes,
MGC, because you can talk days about your experiences at MGC.
Because you spend days at the